So the Armageddon box has been revealed. How did it shape up though against the last one? When we got 10th edition, we got the Leviathan box. Now that we know everything that's in Armageddon, let's take a look. Which one's better? So when it comes to the Space Marine Command Squad, we got the Captain in Terminator armour back in 10th edition. For me, and although Terminators are pretty cool, he hasn't seen a lot of play. His rules aren't particularly good. So for me, he's a 2 out of 5. And what do we get in the Armageddon box? We get the Captain with the Relic Shield. So he's wearing a different type of armour mark, which means he can attach to different units. That makes him a little bit more versatile. Terminators in 10th, and who knows, maybe they'll be better in 11th. But at the moment in 10th, they are a bit lackluster. So I think this guy is more of a 3 out of 5. So far, that's 1-0 to the Armageddon box. Next up for Leviathan, they had the Terminator in the Librarian armour. Other way around, the Librarian in the Terminator armour. Kind of the same problem. He gives sustained hits, which is a little bit better, I think. Probably is a bit more versatile than what the Captain offers. But again, this guy is still kind of a 2 out of 5 for me, a bit lackluster. In the Armageddon box, again, you get a Librarian. This one, not in Terminator armour, so a bit more versatile what he can attach to with some different rules. He gives that invuln save. So I think, again, probably going to give this one to the Armageddon box. That makes it 2-0 to Armageddon. Then we had this bad boy, the Lieutenant with the Combi-weapon. A standout unit for the whole of 10th edition, 5 out of 5. Incredible rules, sees competitive play in so many lists. This one's going to be hard to beat. And we'll compare him against the Jump Chaplain, as there is no direct equivalent from the Armageddon box. Jump Chaplain's cool, obviously not so useful in detachments and chapters that have +1 to wound naturally. He does look pretty cool, but we're going to give this one to Leviathan, so 2-1 to Armageddon. Then lastly, for the Leviathan box, the final character that was in there was the Apothecary, and that's the Apothecary Biologis. He's the one in the Gravis armour, so he's got a pistol, a big canister of soup in case the Space Marines get hungry or thirsty. This guy's pretty good. The Gravis units are quite limited with your Eradicators and your Aggressors, but he does give out lethal hits. That is pretty spicy. The only thing left to compare him against would be the Ancient. Oh, this one's difficult, right? The rules are probably better on the Biologis. I'm going to call this one a draw. We're going to keep it as 2-1 still to Armageddon, but I do look forward to painting that banner. Now, both of these boxes came with a unit of veterans. Back in Leviathan, you got the Sternguard Vets. So again, probably more like a 3 out of 5 as a unit. They don't see a ton of play. They can be very nice though. They can dish out a ton of mortal wounds and aren't a complete pushover in a fight either. If we compare that against the veterans that we get in Armageddon, we get these guys. These are the re-sculpted Vanguard Veterans. So a lot of people, I think, unhappy that they're not different enough compared to the jump pack Intercessors. But they are a good unit. They do see a lot of play. And I think depending on how their rules get tweaked, this may be one that goes the way of the Armageddon. But personal bias here, Sternguard are one of my favourite units. So this goes to Armageddon. 2-all. Not Armageddon, Leviathan. 2-all. Then when we look at the main thing that made the numbers up for the Leviathan box, it was the Infernus Marines. So super popular in Salamanders and probably Salamanders alone. They didn't get an awful lot of play outside of that. And then when we could compare that to what's in the Armageddon box, it's these slightly updated Intercessors. So a few different armour marks. Now, a lot of people are very unhappy, it seems, about these. Not different enough, but Intercessors are a great unit. They're seen in pretty much every single competitive list. These are a 5 out of 5. They are exceptionally good. If you're a new player coming in, you're going to be a lot better off with these guys than the Infernus Marines. So because of that, I am going to give this to Armageddon, making it 3-2. Now, when we go back to Leviathan, the heavy unit they had in here was the OG Terminators. Another unit that's got fairly terrible rules. Don't see very much play in 10th edition. The chapter-specific Terminators are a lot better. These guys are very hard to get to work on the tabletop for the amount of points. I really hope that they get a glow-up in 11th edition. The closest equivalent we've got here in Armageddon is what for me is a pretty odd choice. It's Eradicators, but with heavy bolters. They look very cool, like the kind of the guard and the faceplate on the gun, like the little targeting sensor. Oh man, I wish we had something cooler though. I don't think we need any more anti-horde in Space Marines. Pretty much all of our tanks have got 1 billion guns. So for me, this is a bit of a disappointment. So I think Probably controversial. We're going to give this one to Leviathan purely on looks alone. That's going to make it 3 apiece. Last thing in the Leviathan box then was Billy the Brave, the Ballistus Dreadnought. This one's going to be hard to beat. Ballistus Dreadnoughts have been a competitive staple and played in casual. They look cool. They're very strong on the tabletop. Big fan of Billy the Brave. And that brings us to the Land Speeder. I'm not convinced. The base looks a bit weird. I know a lot of people don't like the glass, kind of plasticky hover bases, but people are calling these bubbles, the bubbles base. I don't know if this is it either, guys. This one's going to have to go to Leviathan. Does that make it 4-3 Leviathan? Was the Leviathan box better for Space Marines than the Armageddon box? What do you reckon?